Around the world and across Nigeria. If you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Weekend right here on Enterprise Television. We move to our next main conversation for today. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, warned that the military will intervene if the ongoing protests against the socio-economic hardship and hunger escalates.
True, and he stated that the military is on alert and prepared to take action if necessary. This comes after hoodlums hijacked the protests, leading to vandalism and looting.
The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, commended civil society groups for not participating in the protest and expressed optimism about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's initiative to improve the economy.
True, and he further stated, but however, Peter Obi, Labour Party's presidential candidate, has spoken out against threats of genocide and divisive rhetoric targeting the Igbo tribe in Lagos, calling for unity, tolerance, and immediate action to prosecute those behind the threats.
And also the Southeast caucus of the National Assembly expressed a concern over the ethnic profiling of Igbos during the ongoing protest. Despite their non-participation, they condemned the online hate speech and calls for violence, citing historic examples of the devastating consequences of ethnic profiling, and demand accountability from security agencies. And still with us in the studios, like we did in the first part of our broadcast today, Evans Ofeli, Emeka Madunagu, and Oluwa Taiwo. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging on. So let's get into this particular discourse, but particularly I would love to narrow in my question basically with reference to Dele Momodu's publication on X. He said, this unfortunate conspiracy theory was forwarded to me, that is from Dele Momodu himself, by what he called the Tinubu apologist. And the man who sent the message to Dele Momodu himself, who is Bolutife, on X, said, and I read, a classic January 15, 1966 happened yesterday, but many didn't notice. Northerners lost the most political and military officers, followed by the West, while the East lost none. Igbos initiated and led the coup, but protected their own. Igbos championed this protest, but refused to participate. Now, that is coming from a Nigerian. Ethnic profiling, classical ethnic profiling. Evans Ofeli.
This kind of statement is very inflammatory. You see this freedom of speech thing that we used to cry to the high heavens, that we have freedom of speech recognized by the Constitution and exercisable by citizens' rights. It's not absolute. You see, in Rwanda, a similar thing like this happened that led to serious war, that left, tribal and ethnic, that left a lot of people dead because of that. So we should be looking at a legislation where freedom of speech, because the Constitution empowered the National Assembly in Section 45 of the 1999 Constitution to make laws to derogate on those rights, where there's a tendency that a citizen may want to use the expression of speech above its limits, or to take it beyond, to use it to defame, to use it for ethnic issues like this, to create bad blood, and to begin to, create confusion in society. The Constitution was careful to empower the legislature to make laws to derogate, to limit. Okay? And also in the law of defamation, in tort, you have defamation, you have slander, you have libel. Those are principles of law that check freedom of expression, but it cannot be absolute. Okay? Now, this expression, linking it to what happened, the coup and the counter coup, there is no basis for it whatsoever, because this protest was not propagated or propelled by any part of the country, any ethnic group. You understand? People are tired of bad governance, and they have come out to express their grievances, that they cannot continue to live this way. and then you zero it into a tribe, and then as the tribe promulgated it, all of them looking at Peter Obi, then they turn around and say that they refuse to participate. Even before the protest, there was a time Mohammed Zendipo said people should not protest. How is that statement a preparation for protest when it is a call that people should not protest? You understand? So I think that guy is mischievous, and such people should be arrested and questioned and profiled, so that you will know. Because some of them, they are not just saying that people are behind them. Some persons are beating the drum for them. Okay, and they are out there executing and making. One of them in the UK was convicted.
Yes, Adenka grants.
Yes, 20 years imprisonment for making statements anyhow. You understand? Now he thought he was in Nigeria where he can just talk anyhow, go to the express, defecate, then go to his house and sleep. You think he was caught up with, because it's an environment where such is not tolerated. You cannot do such in Rwanda. You understand? In fact, in the Holy Read, Paul the Apostle was so bitter with the Galatians that he called them foolish, that who bewitched them. It is neither it's neither Gentile or Jews. Okay, so this issue of if you do not take this very seriously, because now the thing about idea is that when you dish it out there, it goes into the cosmic space. People begin to buy it. I have seen people who told me in confidence that the time will come when they will sell off their properties they have in the southwest and move back to the east or wherever it is where they come from. Because of statements like this. Statements like this can hamper development. It can stop people from coming to invest in particular locations.
It's even doing it already.
Yeah, these people don't know. There's nothing special in the southwest. There's nothing special in Lagos. There is a sea in my place. If not that the government is insensitive, if they're able to draw a seaport there, and they're able to draw whatever, Lagos is as good as anywhere else in the country. Just because we are not thinking. We don't have rails, we don't have facility. That is why some people are moving to some locations where they can do their businesses. So statements like this, the government should take it very serious. But you know what they will do? They will gloss over it. People like Akpabio, that is supposed to oversight the citizens and policies and all that, cannot even comprehend the far-reaching effect of statements like this. And it's unfortunate. There was one that tweeted and called Yorubas in the East that they should come out. That they are giving the Igbos on the 31st of 1 month. This month to leave the country. You can imagine. When you begin to say that, when you're already in the trouble, you are creating a bigger one on top of it. I don't know where we're going to.
Now, talking about not knowing where we go to, Emeka, do you think the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has got enough gusto to nab these people?
Let me tell you something. If we have enough speakers of truth everywhere in this country, a lot of these things will happen. You know what happened in Rwanda? The people who spoke this were inconsequential people, journalists, but inconsequential. They were calling people cockroaches. Inconsequent. You see, the problem is when you have leaders with intellectual deficit, they are not better. Their level of thought, their thought processing is not better than that of the average artisan on the street. So they make recourse to those people because they are thinking at that level. If your thought process is at a high level, if your IQ is high, you understand, you will not, you will mind the kind of crowd you want to be associated with. I'll blame Dele Momodu for actually also giving vent to that thing. But Dele Momodu is an opinion leader. Many people wouldn't have seen what that guy tweeted. But Dele Momodu made reference to it.
But criticized it.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
It's not, who is the guy? Is it the problem? Like Barrister said during this, who is he? Sometimes in the media, we give too much, accolades to non-entities. Who is he? The Lagospedia guy, young Nigerians went and dug out his name, his photograph, his identity, and he just one small boy, I think maybe an undergraduate somewhere, maybe giving 10,000 or something, and did that. Who is this fellow? Non-entities, but the problem is that what they want, what they do is message, it's called message engineering, psychology. Keep pushing it until one big figure who does not sit down to think of the far-reaching, wider consequences picks it and then pushes it innocently. But you know what? I'm not a lawyer, but you know what? In the law of libel, right? When you can be accused of republishing, they may not target the original source. I've seen that happen in the media, where a story came out in different newspapers, but some people chose to recirculate, chose to sue one or two papers, and they were asking, why didn't you sue the others? They said, well, we felt that the ones that these papers have more influence than the others. Yes. So Daily Momodu shouldn't have given vent to it, because the name Daily Momodu carries weight. The other fellow, I don't know him. So if you're saying a Tinubu apologist, Daily Momodu, if he's asked to prove it, even if it was Tinubu that gave the boy money, but you cannot, facts are sacred, you cannot prove. You understand? So the fact of the matter is that, yes, people are taking advantage of tribal and all of that, because just to muddy the waters while they think of what to do. Let me tell you, all this is happening. Government is alarmed though. They are thinking of what to do. So in the meantime, distract Nigerians so that we just, because last week they said Tinubu will be government will be selling rice at 40,000. People are holding on to that. So they are thinking of what to do. Which country can we go to? Can we go to Thailand, for instance, and empty their rice mills? Just bring rice, give Nigerians 40,000. But the thing is that, where is the money? The rice will not fly in now. You cannot carry rice in cargo planes now. From Thailand to Nigeria will take you at least 30 to 40 days. But there is a problem on ground. How do we solve it? You understand? So all of these things constitute just psychological, manipulation. So I think all of these things should just be ignored, because the thing is this: I'm a Nigerian first. I'm an Igbo man. The person that will tell me to leave Lagos should come now. I'm waiting for you. Come now. Come to my house and tell me to leave Lagos. By the time you enter my house, okay, come, please come in. When you enter my house and I lock the gate, then you will know that government gives me right, territorial right over my property.
Thank you, Mr.
So we should not hype some of these things. There are more serious issues. Who are these non-entities?
Thank you, Mr. Madinago. Now, let me hear from you, Oluwa, because now the Attorney Ferry has written to the police and he said, arrest promoters of Igbo Must Go campaign, because it's already like a hashtag on Twitter. And now Attorney Ferry is involved. And Peter Obi came out to say that the president or the leaders should use this particular person as a deterrent to others. Knowing for a fact that someone somewhere is beating the drums for this particular person, there is a how. And how would this be done? Because if we go down memory lane and go through this thing, nothing has been done to some persons in courts that have actually instigated something like this.
All right, for Nigeria as a country, we are having evolution of ignoramus generation. All right, like some of the public speakers will say that we are having too many of ignorant entities parading themselves as professionals based on the capacity and the platform of social media. So we are having too many warlords, too many key padlords, in quotes, who are very professional in the capacity building when it comes to ability to use key pad without knowing the legal implication, political implication, and also the economic implication of such statement. So, like the barrister has said, being that as it may, we may now begin to regulate the social media space. Some of us were, in the first instance, were against the government regulating that space. But we have seen with our two eyes open, that government has to what? Regulate that space. We can't shy away from it. And that is one thing an average young man, young woman in Nigeria must also understand. That, thank God I'm still a youth also. You must understand that whatever you do at your little, small cubicle can cause havoc in the presidency. Whatever you do at Ikoyi can cause havoc at Ekwe. Whatever you do at Borno State, whatever you do at that Kubwa village where I did my NYC, whatever you do at that Kubwa village can have effects on the activity of Ondo State if care is not taken, negatively or positively, especially on the economic and the political space. So, the freedom of speech is no longer guaranteed. The youth must understand that. Because they say in Freetown, even in Freetown, nothing is free. There's no free lunch there. So don't hide under the freedom of information and begin to express yourself in a least normal way. Don't forget, whatever you give is what you get. And in these circumstances, I went to the market last week on behalf of my wife to get plastic of garri. At a particular place, I got it for 5,000. At a particular place, I got it for 3,500. And when I got home, my wife was making jest of me. Like, young man, you can see your life. If I collect money from you, you'll be shouting that the money is too much. You can see what you bought with little amount. Now, the question is, who sold the garri to me? Is he an Igbo man? I don't know. Is he a Yoruba woman? I don't know. Is he an Ishekiri woman? I don't know. What matter is that I got garri, either cheap or expensive. So the market does not belong to religion. The market does not belong to ethnic groups. The market belongs to Nigerians. So the protest also does not belong to an Igbo man. The protest does not belong to an Hausa man. This protest belongs to every Nigerian who are tired of what? Bad governance, who are tired of what? Unnecessary economic exploitation by the government against the people of that same country. So anyone coming on social media trying to create an ethnic class should be arrested. That is my final word.
All right. So while we still deliberate on that, I'd love us to maybe talk a little bit about military intervention in all of the crises that's happening in Nigeria. The military are saying that they might move in if violence escalates. And of course, let's not forget, it's less than 4 years. Nigerians can still vividly remember the EndSARS and what happened. It wasn't started by the Nigerian police, it was started by the Nigerian army. So don't you think this could be a repeat of what Nigerians are yet to maybe get off their head?
The military should move in and exterminate Boko Haram. But they have not done that. That's what we expect from them. They should move into those territories where those Boko Haram is, and then take, because as this protest was ongoing, Boko Haram struck in Borno State. So what they should have done was to take over the stratosphere, take over it against insurgents. That's their duty, and by the law and by the constitution. So they should not threaten civil society. And the reason they have the guts to threaten civil society is because they have a president that is threatening the citizens. They have a police that is threatening the citizens. And even before the protest, they issued a statement. You understand, under democracy. You are now wondering what is going on. What exactly are these people saying? You see, the one they did before, the injury is still there. You understand? I know that there is this perception about the military is almighty and all that. Well, let me tell you something. When the crowd overwhelm the people, it does not matter who is a military man or not. They will kill military men. They killed them in a place in Delta State not too long ago that led to crisis. You understand? So the military should be careful the kind of statement they make just because they want to be heard. They should be careful. And as a part of this reform, that what they are doing now, what they are saying now, is not different from what that young man that is wired up with tribal and ethnic confusion did. It's not different. It's a threat. It's a threat. So part of the reform of the Nigerian state they are talking about, because the military have exercised their own freedom of expression now, saying nonsense. Because that is nonsense, really. And it's wrong for them to go that or bring that approach to this discourse. It's wrong. So part of the reform, whether to one that is full of ethnic bigotry, or whether one that thinks he has so much power and authority to then tell society that part of the reform is education. We must do something about education in this country. A lot of people are brainless, empty, and they want to make statements. That is the worst thing. You see, we must kill the mosquito that bites the slave. Because we have no guarantee that if he sees the bottom of the king, he will not do the same. We must look, there must be what they call in business psychology, environmental scanning. We need to scan the citizens, scan the economy, and deal with the issues that are militating against the growth of this country. Part of the issues militating against the growth of this country are the citizens. The citizens, and when people are entrusted with just little authority, they want to make it inflammatory, they want to blow up the entire place. It's unnecessary. You see, the military have a duty, they have a responsibility under the law. That duty and responsibility under the law have not been discharged. They have not discharged it. They have not, that is to protect the territorial integrity of the country. That responsibility that is fundamental have not been discharged. Go and discharge that responsibility first. Then before you come and talk about any other thing. I mean, the citizens are not protesting because they just feel they want to protest. They said that if the violence continue and other, they will take over. Don't take over. Go against those people fermenting the violence in the protests. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's all.
Thank you, Barrister Philly. When I come back now, this statement coming from the
Chief
CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff now, Christopher Musa. Do you think this is the right statement at this time?
I think Chris Musa is being too garrulous. He's a general. Go to other countries. Generals don't talk. Generals are strategists. Right? Generals are strategists. Two, even one of the things he said was that the media should stop giving publicity to promoters of the protest. And I asked him, this man, you are talking too much. Do you know you are actually insulting the constitution? You have no right. The media is stated in the constitution as the fourth estate of the realm. You are now saying that the media should be, that the power of the media should be upturned. You actually, what you are doing is a verbal coup, an affront on the constitution. I think people like him, the other time he was talking about that Norway should extradite the other fellow, making a lot of noise from there. You have one person with you. You have not been able to do anything, with the violence, even though you have Nnamdi Kanu with you. You are looking for Simon Ekpa. What kind of reasoning is on? A general.
Finland, not Norway.
No, sorry, Finland. A general would normally tell the president, Mr. President, can we find ways of de-escalating this thing? Are there measures that can be quickly taken? No general goes into war. Okay, they are there. Boys, get your gun. You will be wiped out. You study the situation. There are situations that need just dialogue. And then you overcome the enemy. You de-escalate the threat. But when you begin to make it look like we'll intervene, I will want President Bola Tinubu to be very careful of this man. Because such a person is overly ambitious. The Inspector General of Police, I watched his press conference some days ago. He made one calculation, he repeated it. He said the police are not overwhelmed. The police are not overwhelmed. The police are not overwhelmed. That we have standby units. And that is the man in charge of internal security. Allow him first of all to get to a point where he feels the police are overwhelmed. Then he will report back to the commander-in-chief, who will now call a meeting of the National Security Council. And then they will now take decisions in conjunction with the National Assembly. let General Chris Musa be one though.
That was a possibility.
Because these statements he's making can actually land him in jail in future.
Yes.
It's the truth. I'm just being frank with you. That's the truth. Look at Donald Trump. All those things were saying that eventually the law came out and said,
The Supreme said you can't do that.
but he was just lucky. It was an escape by the skin of the teeth. He won't try it again. You understand? So what we are saying is that people in public office, the Nigerian military has a legal department that should advise these people on statements. Then President Tinubu should also limit the number of people speaking. Too much talk. When you are, the citizens are talking, you are talking. Citizens are talking. You know, it shows that the government doesn't even value itself.
All right. So while we
Tinubu should limit the number of people talking. And then there must be strategic engagement. You have said, okay, Wiki has said dialogue with government. Name a team, set up a team, and say, okay, we will talk with you people. See. Let it be open. Look, Nigerians are willing to support any government. Nigerians are not like people in the West, that no matter how much you try to please them, there will always be some groups that will fight you on mass migration, that will fight you here, that they will always bring up something. So let government engage the people and tell this Chris Musa, like Barrister said, go and deal with headsmen and Boko Haram.
Yes.
And leave the civil population.
Very, very true. But in as much as we do not like the intrusion of the military, but let's not forget a gentleman. I'm directing this question to Oluwa, that beyond warfare, the military may be employed in additional sanctioned and non-sanctioned functions within the state, including internal security threats, crowd control, promotion of political agendas, emergency services, and reconstruction, protecting corporate economic interest, social ceremonies, and national honor. So where do you think the military head might be defaulting, knowing that these are some of the functions a military in any civilized country can take on?
All right, when we talk about, in all of the conversation we have had, one of the major things I've deduced from what you have said is what we call the national security emergency. So the question is there any emergency? Is there any security emergency?
The law of Moses, the meeting may.
May. So whether it's may or shall or should or will or might or ought to, there is no security challenge. There is no national security challenge or emergency towards or as a result of this word, protest. All right, there can be conflict within the protest is possible. Now, two things are involved I will quickly want to mention. Number one, each time there's going to be protest, like like I said, how come the generals are not looking at, can we use this as an opportunity to retrieve our voice and begin to strategically look at the geographical mapping of Nigeria? You know why? Because the tension is calm in terms of economic activities. The movement has been restricted nationwide because of the protest. So it gives you ample time to go out with your war jets or with your helicopter in quotes and begin to do strategic mapping within the economy, within the cities, and see that, okay, we can actually tackle these guys in Sambisa Forest from this angle of Borno State. We can actually tackle these guys in Kano State directly through this expressway. Those are what you should have been doing right now. Instead of you just waking up overnight, the Chief of Defense Staff making a national press release during the protest. To do what? Are you now overshadowing the activities of the IGP in Nigeria? Or are you taking over the position of the Inspector General of Police? That is totally uncomfortable. You know, I was strictly glued to my TV, and I was actually surprised. I was asking myself, is there any security challenge in Borno State or Kano State that warrants the CDS to address the nation? Maybe Mr. President doesn't understand the meaning of the CDS addressing the nation. Maybe he doesn't understand. Indirectly, the Mr. President is handing over his power to the CDS in case they don't understand. So such must not happen anymore. This is civil protest. What is the activities of CDS and his voice military in protest, ordinary protest? Abba. We should be careful as a nation. And our political or public service holder should understand that we have two types of education: impact-driven education and academic theory education. So most of them must understand that they must move away from the academic theory education they have, which is affecting their professional activities. They should move towards impact-driven. When you have solid impact-driven education, you understand the meaning of CDS. You understand what you're supposed to be your contribution to the success of an economy, not arrogating yourself to the position and activities that's constitutionally not your duty.
Very, very true. Yes, some would call it a duplication of a responsibility, among stakeholders. But of course, for them, actually, it could be another story and another narrative, of course, which could be from their own part, ensuring that Nigeria is safe for everyone. Well, that is all we have for today. I would love to say thank you to Barrister Vansofeli for being part of our show.
My pleasure.
And Nakamatu Tango, thank you as always. Oluwa, Taiwo, thank you so very much for being part of our show. Choma, thank you.
Thank you, Harry.
For making a great host today.
Thank you.
All right. So, my people, would love to say thank you once more for being part of our show today. We truly do appreciate your time. But please do well to visit our website for more information at enterprise.tvnews.com, and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I'm Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma.
On behalf of the entire team, we'd love to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.